Cooper made the decision to wed Ariana in Landman Season 2, Episode 6. Mr. Barrera, Ariana's father, had already given Cooper the all-clear. Tommy didn't do anything to prevent the young soul's union, even though he intended to go gently. Angela was ecstatic with Cooper's desire to tie the knot and even made the decision to donate her own wedding band so he wouldn't have to spend a bunch. However, Cooper had to get past Ariana's ex-mother-in-law, Isabella, before he could pop the question. Isabella granted Cooper the go-ahead to assist Ariana in beginning the next phase of her life because of his candor and openness. Ariana is taken aback when Cooper speaks Spanish. When Ariana is upset with him, he claims to be trying to grasp what she's saying, but in reality, he's just trying to be closer to her. In practically every nation, it is a given that minorities will be well-versed in the majority community's language and culture, while the majority population remains unaware of these things. Minorities put forth a lot of work to close the gap with the majority community, and it shouldn't be difficult for those in the majority to do the same. Cooper is acting out of love, of course, but anyone can, for the benefit of humanity, do it. Returning to the storyline, Cooper tells Ariana that Isabel has given her approval of their relationship, indicating that Ariana is at last at ease with getting married to Cooper. Cooper claims he wants to make the proposal memorable, but she tells him not to keep her waiting. Ariana explains to him that the way a married pair lives their life is what makes a marriage unique, not the proposal or the wedding. In light of this, Cooper and Ariana start acting strangely, and Cooper heads to the airport to pick up his mother and sister while Ariana visits the Patch Cafe. As promised, Angela gives Cooper her wedding ring on the way home. The writers have mastered their sibling interaction, with Ainsley expressing her envy in the most amusing way imaginable and Cooper reacting to it in a lighthearted way. After dropping the ladies off at the house, Cooper heads to the flower shop to purchase some flowers for his proposal to Ariana. Even though Ariana claimed that it wasn't a significant part of their relationship, she is pleasantly surprised to discover the effort Cooper has made to ask for her hand in marriage when she gets home from her shift in Landman Season 2, Episode 7. Naturally, she says yes to Cooper, and the two give each other a passionate kiss to reaffirm that they will be traveling this life together. The underlying message of this entire sequence, I believe, is that you shouldn't be low-key when you are in private, even if your spouse advises you to. Since everyone enjoys a little extravagance, you should figure out how to demonstrate that you are aware of how much extravagance your partner enjoys. Cooper's approach falls somewhere in the center between proposing in front of a packed stadium and proposing by text. You should be intimate and a little extravagant because you won't be making repeated proposals to your significant other. Therefore, make it unforgettable while keeping your partner's tastes in mind. I appreciate you attending my TED Talk. Please feel free to express your thoughts in the space provided for comments below if you have any. Rebecca and Charlie start talking about the offshore gas drilling mission after some post-coitus flirtation. Rebecca requests that Charlie speak with Tommy, Cammy, and the other board members to inform them of the risks involved and how the project can proceed. Charlie also states something unexpected. He can explain to his superiors how the drilling can be completed, but he cannot guarantee that the rig will produce any gas. Rebecca is perplexed since she believes that Hurricane Francine is to blame for the rig's damage and cessation of gas production. However, Charlie accurately notes that a storm remains on the surface and cannot impact the reservoir because it is located beneath the seabed. Therefore, it's probable that the hurricane was blamed for the disaster when it became clear that the rig was constructed on a location with very little probability of producing high-quality gas. Monty might have believed he could get away with it and receive the insurance benefit. However, MTEX is in a difficult situation because Blanton and his business have hired attorneys. Now, MTEX's already enormous debt will only increase if they spend $400 million drilling in an area that offers nothing. Charlie claims he can give it his all. Charlie correctly points out, though, that a storm stays on the top and cannot affect the reservoir because it is below the bottom. Therefore, when it became evident that the rig was built on a site with very limited chance of producing high-quality gas, it is likely that the hurricane was held responsible for the catastrophe. It's possible that Monty thought he could get away with it and still obtain the insurance benefit. However, Blanton and his company have engaged lawyers, which puts MTEX in a challenging position. Now, if MTEX spends $400 million drilling in an unproductive area, their already massive debt will further grow. Charlie says he is capable of giving it his best. When Rebecca meets Nate, she shares what Charlie told her. Nate speculates that Monty might have been aware that the location wouldn't produce any gas. Thus, he attempted to make fewer investments in the drilling process and planned to profit greatly from the insurance payout. At least that's what I believe Nate is referring to. Nate chooses to take the insurance company to court and intensify Monty's strategy. Rebecca believes that MTechs might have a chance to prevail in this lawsuit if they are able to assemble a strong jury. Cammy is the main obstacle. Nate believes Tommy will comprehend their efforts, but given that Cammy has already shook, she might be against this concept in order to respect her arrangement with Dan. Rebecca promises to prepare Charlie and everything else for the presentation, but Nate starts talking about Rebecca and Charlie's romance at work. Rebecca is deeply distressed by this and leaves with tears in her eyes. Rebecca is still quite upset when she gets to Tommy's house. Tommy then inquires as to what's wrong. He freaks out when he learns that she is crying because her relationship with Charlie has been revealed because he believes he will hear that someone has passed away. Tommy makes it quite apparent that he doesn't mind what Charlie and Rebecca are doing in the sheets, all he wants is for them to be effective and productive while living on the streets. When Rebecca is ready to depart, Tommy asks her the name of the person who persuaded her that the workplace romance is a major problem. Rebecca is happy to hear that. Tommy hints that he will treat Nate the way he deserves to be treated for upsetting his favorite litigator if Rebecca claims it was Nate. Tommy keeps his word and urges Nate not to make a big deal out of little things because their true adversaries are MTech's rivals, not their own staff, before they have dinner. Tommy simply silences Nate as he attempts to complain so he can eat his tacos calmly. Tommy recognizes that he must appease Angela on his own as his daughter hasn't been able to do the same when she makes him an omelet, which is a great way to end their ongoing argument. However, calming Angela down doesn't require much. Angela melts into Tommy's arms when he tells her that she is the love of his life and says some sweet nothings. Ainsley observes correctly that her parents behave like teenagers despite their advanced age. Cooper made the decision to wed Ariana in Landman Season 2, Episode 6. Mr. Barrera, Ariana's father, had already given Cooper the all-clear. Tommy didn't do anything to prevent the young soul's union, even though he intended to go gently. Angela was ecstatic with Cooper's desire to tie the knot and even made the decision to donate her own wedding band so he wouldn't have to spend a bunch. However, Cooper had to get past Ariana's ex-mother-in-law, Isabella, before he could pop the question. Isabella granted Cooper the go-ahead to assist Ariana in beginning the next phase of her life because of his candor and openness. Rebecca wanted Charlie to take the lead on the offshore drilling project as soon as possible to prevent MTechs from being sued for insurance fraud while simultaneously trying to get into his pants, so they started their professional relationship phase while they were getting married. Cammy was prepared to collaborate with Dan, who was more than willing to enter the oil industry, because that project needed money and it would take Alan and Tommy a long time to obtain the cash that belonged to MTechs but weren't easily accessible. Tommy was clearly opposed to that, but Cammy was too adamant to be persuaded. Tommy was then forced to decide whether to support Cammy or leave the company, which seemed to be relying more and more on AI and robots rather than people, in order to spend more time with his family.